friends, welcome back to Homemade Homestead. My name is Rachel if you're new around here, and today I'm going to bring you guys a frugal dinner. This only uses a few ingredients, it's a crowd pleaser, it feeds a lot of people, so I hope you will stick around and watch this yummy recipe. First, we're gonna start off with a bunch of carrots. I think I did about 6 of these carrots. I took the time and peeled them. I take off both ends, and now I'm cutting them on a really sharp bias. I find that this way they cook a little bit more evenly and they are still kind of bite-sized, so they're not so large. But this recipe is totally adaptable. You use the veggies that you and your family like. We are a huge fan of carrots, so I did a lot of carrots. And that takes me to the next veggie, which is potatoes. My family loves potatoes. These are still from our garden. They are starting to grow eyes, but it's not a big deal. Just pull those off, and I like to give them a peel. My awesome husband's actually helping me out here, but you can see that it's kind of green under that skin, and so we want to get all that off. It's just meaning that it's exposed to the sunlight. I've heard that you don't want to eat that part, so I like to peel them. Next, we're just gonna cut them up in half, and then that half into quarters. So it's about 8 pieces per potato. If your potatoes are huge, I would cut them smaller. If they're really small, then just cut them accordingly. But I'm looking for not teeny pieces because I don't want them to turn into mush. Next, we're gonna go into an onion. Any good dinner recipe, I think, needs to have garlic and onion. Now, if you don't like garlic and onion, don't put it in. This is your kitchen, your dinner. You put in the veggies you like. So I'm going to cut it, peel it, and chop it in kind of like a bigger dice because I don't want it to burn. But if you have rutabagas, if you have turnips, parsnips, beets, you could throw any of those good root veggies into this dinner. It's totally adaptable to whatever your family's preferences are. We just love potatoes, carrots, and onions. So those are the veggies that I went with. We're gonna throw this dinner into our oven. I chose this oven-safe enamel pot. It's like a cast iron pan. We got this for our wedding like 10 years ago, and it's still going strong. So I'm just gonna layer my veggies in the bottom, those potatoes that I cut up, the massive amount of carrots. Like, I did so many carrots, but the family loves them. And also that onion I'm gonna throw in there as well. But if you don't want to use this pan, you could totally throw this on like a sheet tray and cook it in your oven that way, or you could throw it in a crock pot. You use however you want to cook this. And the meat we're going to use is chicken leg quarters. This is such a cheap, inexpensive cut of meat. I don't know why more people don't use it, but my husband butchered these chickens. He just took that part of the chicken off for me. And right here, it is totally frozen. I thought I could pull them apart, and I couldn't. So I'm just going to season them like this and throw them into my oven, and eventually they did pull apart, like after they thawed a little bit, and I was able to move them around the pot. But at first it was kind of a mess because they just stuck together. So take my advice and thaw out your chicken, or if your chicken isn't frozen, then just put them on top of your veggies. But I'm just doing some salt and pepper, some sage. I love the spices: parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. And if you want to sing the song, feel free, there's no judgment here. But I love those flavors. It's not just a holiday spice for me. Like sage, I use all the time. So I'm going in with salt, pepper, sage. Here's my parsley. I got this really cool spice rack from Costco a few years ago, and I'm still loving it. It's working out great. I love having them right there at my fingertips. And here's the rosemary, so that I can just pull my favorite spices. It works out really well for me. And then I topped it with some thyme. Now, even though I put onion in the bottom, I'm still gonna go in with some onion powder and garlic powder because I was being lazy and I didn't want to peel fresh garlic, so I'm just using the powder. And I feel like you can always have a little bit extra onion, and these are onion and garlic that we grew ourselves, dehydrated and ground, so they are pretty strong. So just season it how you want to do it. Next, I'm gonna pour on some olive oil just to give it some fat, and I didn't want it to stick or burn on the bottom, so I just pour some over top. This worked out really well. And I went in with some butter. Now, my chicken did stick a little bit to the top of my lid because my enamel pot isn't super deep, so just be aware of that. But the butter gives it a really great rich flavor. And I'm not putting my lid on immediately because my chicken is just so high. I do end up putting that on top later on once I was able to separate the chicken. So I'm just popping it into about a 375-degree oven for a couple hours. Honestly, you just want to make sure your chicken is cooked. So maybe start with 45 minutes if your chicken is thawed, and you know, go up from there. But mine took, I think it was about an hour and a half, but my chicken was huge and completely frozen. But here it is. Oh, it's so beautiful. Look at that bubbling. It did stick a little to my lid, but look at that brown bits on the chicken. Those are the delicious morsels though. Oh, you know, I've heard brown means flavor, and it does. It just gives us this lovely flavor. And I really hope you guys give this recipe a try. My family adores it. You know, you could change it up. Try different spices. Let me know what you guys would add. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's dinner. I hope you guys will give this recipe a try. If you do, let me know what you think in the comment section, and let me know if you guys make something similar, if you change it up a little bit. Do you throw this in your crock pot instead of the oven? I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments below. I hope you're having an awesome day wherever you are, and we'll talk to you guys again real soon. Bye-bye now.